Okay, so have you ever been camping?
And like something goes wrong. Like someone loses their car keys or even worse, their kid wanders off.
Oh,
You know
God.
those moments where you're like, thank goodness someone knows what they're doing.
Right, you just want someone to fix it.
Exactly. And today's deep dive is all about those behind-the-scenes heroes, camping ground operatives. We're going deep on what it really takes to run a campsite, thanks to some awesome insights from this career platform, RoleCatcher.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We see the campfires, the happy campers, but there's this whole other side to it, the logistics, the problem solving.
Right. Like, how do those campsites actually stay clean?
Yeah,
And who makes sure everyone's following the rules so things don't descend into total chaos?
exactly. So let's break it down. If you're starting out, what's the actual job title and what are you doing all day?
Yeah, give me the nitty-gritty. Is it just like handing out maps and chasing away raccoons?
Well, there's definitely some of that. Haha. But RoleCatcher calls the entry-level position a camping ground assistant, kind of to differentiate it from the later camping ground attendant role.
Okay, so assistant versus attendant, got it. But what's an average day look like?
So their example profile mentioned a lot about keeping the campsite clean and organized, which makes sense, right?
Yeah, gotta have those sparkling restrooms.
For sure. But it's also a lot of direct contact with campers. Like when you arrive, they're the ones welcoming you, explaining the campsite layout, making sure you know where everything is.
So you're like the face of the campsite, first impressions and all that. That takes some serious people skills.
Oh, absolutely. And not just your average, can I help you find something kind of skills. Imagine dealing with those stressed out campers we mentioned earlier. Maybe they lost their luggage or can't figure out how to put up their tent. You're dealing with all that while trying to keep a cool head.
And probably with a smile.
Definitely with a smile. Rollcatcher really emphasized that employers want people who can stay calm under pressure and think on their feet. Because, unexpected things happen all the time when you're dealing with nature and a bunch of people.
So you need a plan A, plan B, and probably a plan C up your sleeve at all times. But how does that actually play out, like in a real-life campsite scenario?
All right, picture this peak camping season, middle of summer, and you suddenly realize you're short on tents. Maybe some got damaged in a storm, or the new shipment is delayed. You've got a whole bunch of campers, all with reservations, ready to set up camp. What do you do?
Oh gosh, okay, that's a recipe for disaster right there. What does RoleCatcher say? Just hide in the restroom until it blows over.
Aha, I wish. No, this is where those problem-solving skills come in. Maybe you offer alternative accommodations like cabins or yurts if you have them. Or get creative, is there a communal space you can temporarily convert? The key is clear communication and finding a solution quickly and calmly.
Wow. Yeah, you need some serious on-the-spot thinking for that. But it's not all just logistics and calming down panicked campers, right? What about this whole ecotourism thing everyone's talking about?
Right. Campers these days, they're more environmentally conscious, which is great, of course.
Definitely.
But it also means they're going to have more questions, like about the campsite's sustainability practices, how they handle waste, all that.
So you're not just a camping expert. You're like an unofficial spokesperson for eco-friendly living. What does RoleCatcher say about that? Do you need like a degree in environmental science for this?
A degree is not usually required, but a genuine love for nature and some basic knowledge about sustainable practices are definitely a plus.
Makes sense. You're introducing people to the joys of nature, so you should probably know a thing or two about protecting it.
Exactly. And as you gain experience as a camping ground assistant, you start to understand the campsite's operations on a deeper level.
Okay, so you've mastered the art of tent triage, and you're basically a walking, talking eco-warrior. What happens next? Where does this career path lead? So you're saying there's like levels to this. Like I'm picturing a whole hierarchy of camping gurus.
Yeah, kind of. Like we're saying, you start as a camping ground assistant, but the natural next step is becoming a camping ground attendant.
Okay, assistant to attendant sounds like a promotion, but what actually changes? More responsibility.
Absolutely. Think of it this way, as an attendant, you're less about handling every little thing yourself and more about making sure everything runs smoothly overall.
So less hands-on, more big picture thinking.
Exactly. Like, remember how we talked about those tent shortages? As an attendant, you'd be more involved in managing reservations and making sure that those situations are less likely to happen in the first place.
Okay, so anticipating problems before they pop up. Gotcha.
Exactly. You're thinking ahead, making sure the campsite is prepared. Plus, remember those vendor relationships RoleCatcher mentioned?
Vaguely. Refresh my memory.
Like coordinating with suppliers, maintenance crews, maybe even local businesses that offer stuff for campers to do. That becomes more important at this level.
Oh, right. So you're like the liaison between the campsite and the outside world.
Pretty much. And you're also the one handling any issues that come up, whether it's a camper complaint or a conflict between staff members.
So you need those people skills we talked about, but even more so now.
Definitely. Emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, all that good stuff. It's a demanding role, but it also comes with more responsibility and often better pay.
Okay, you've officially convinced me that this is way more than just a summer job, but is attendant the final level? Or is there like a camping czar waiting in the wings? Spill the beans. What's this top-tier camping extraordinaire title?
Get ready for it. Camping Ground Coordinator.
Ooh, coordinator. That has a nice ring to it. What's the job description for that?
This is where you really start shaping the whole camper experience. Think big picture. Setting policies, managing staff, making sure everything runs smoothly, but like on a much larger scale.
So less about cleaning up spilled s'mores and more about making big decisions.
Exactly. Remember those campsite rules we talked about? Quiet hours, pet regulations, all that? You could be the one making those decisions as coordinator.
Whoa, you're like the mayor of the campground.
Haha, in a way. And it's not just about the rules themselves. You're thinking about the why behind them. Safety, sustainability, making sure everyone has a good time.
Okay, so you've got those policy-making skills down. What else does a camping ground coordinator need in their toolbox?
People management is huge. You're responsible for hiring, training, motivating your team, plus, dealing with any conflicts that come up.
So you need to be a master diplomat on top of everything else.
Pretty much. And here's where it gets really interesting. At this level, you also start getting more involved with the financial side of things. Budgeting, planning, making sure the campsite is financially healthy.
Wait, hold on. So knowing your way around a spreadsheet could actually be a good thing in this line of work.
Absolutely. Those analytical skills come in handy even when you're surrounded by trees and tents.
Wow, who knew? Okay, so from cleaning toilets to crunching numbers, it seems like this career path really has it all. But is coordinator the final boss level? Or is there another step up?
For those who are truly ambitious, there's one more rung on the ladder. Camping ground manager. This is it, the top spot.
Okay, the CEO of camping. What kind of responsibilities come with a title like that?
As manager, you're responsible for the entire operation. You're setting the long-term vision, making strategic decisions about everything from sustainability initiatives to financial planning.
So you're thinking not just about the next camping season, but years down the line.
Exactly. You're considering the campsite's impact on the environment, its role in the local community, its overall legacy.
Wow, that's a lot to consider.
It is, but it's also incredibly rewarding.
So for anyone listening who's now dreaming of trading in their office cubicle for a life outdoors, what would be your biggest piece of advice?
Don't underestimate the skills you already have. Customer service, problem solving, leadership. These are all valuable assets in the camping world.
And what about passion? It sounds like you really have to love the outdoors to thrive in this kind of environment.
Absolutely. A genuine passion for nature is essential. This isn't just a job, it's a way of life.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of camping ground operatives.
We hope you've enjoyed this journey from cleaning campsites to shaping the future of sustainable tourism.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from the nitty-gritty of tent setup to the big picture thinking of environmental impact. And hopefully we've inspired you to look at the world of work in a whole new light.
Until next time, keep exploring those career paths, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep that adventurous spirit alive.